Hi kids, I'm Genesis Rivera, your nutritionist dietitian, and for today, we'll be discussing all about proteins, what is protein, the importance of protein in our body, and how it is being digested and absorbed by our body's flow. So just keep listening because we have a lot of fun things to do and to learn today. Hi kids, when we talk about proteins, what are the things that comes to your mind? Is it chicken, fish, meat, and eggs? Well, all of those are true though, but in simple definition, proteins are important nutrients that your body needs to carry out vital functions. Just look at yourself, kids. Your skin, your hair, your nails, your little muscles and bones are mostly made up of proteins, and proteins are actually termed as building blocks because it maintains and repairs our tissues in our body. Not the tissues that you guys are thinking. Not the tissues that we blow our nose in. What I mean is the stuff that our body's made up of. So for example, you had cuts and bruises from playing. You pretty much need protein to help you fix that. Because without enough protein, healing may take longer. Just imagine this. Imagine you're trying to build a house, but you don't have enough materials like tools and nails. It'll definitely be more difficult and longer for you to build up that house. And that's just few of the many functions of protein. And other functions can be protein can be an enzyme. When we say enzyme, for example, we eat burger. When we eat burger, we need enzymes to cut down that burger into smaller pieces that can be used by our bodies. Proteins can also be a transporter, transport the nutrients and oxygen throughout our body for us to stay alive. And it can also provide us protection against harmful substances like bacteria and viruses, which probably we don't like. And in some extent, proteins can also provide us energy. Aren't those amazing? Just keep listening because I still have a lot of things to teach you kids and will definitely enjoy. Since we are still in quarantine, wala man si Jollibee dahil ako munang costume niyo kids. So presenting to you kids the very famous digestive system. Yes. So, digestion is not just all about chewing and getting full. Digestion is the process by which food is broken down into smaller pieces or molecules, getting all the nutrients out of it and then absorbed by our body. So, we have here the mouth. The mouth is actually the first stage of the digestive system. This is where the mechanical digestion happens, or what we call chewing. Saliva also aids in digesting by mixing with food and then moistening it. And then the next destination from the mouth is our throat, or the pharynx. From there, the food goes down here to the esophagus. Esophagus, or the swallowing tube. Esophagus is like a bridge from the pharynx to the stomach. And then, from here, obviously, the food will go down to the very popular stomach. So this is where major digestion happens. And do you kids remember the enzymes that we talked about earlier? This is it. Because the stomach secretes acid and powerful enzymes to break down food. So from here, the food moves to this blue one here, or the small intestine. Small intestine continues the process of breaking down food with the aid of enzymes produced by this yellow one right here. This is what you call the pancreas. Pancreas is just located below the liver and the stomach as well. So this is where major of nutrient absorption happens, yes. And what is left is handed over to the green one here, or the colon, or the large intestine. This is where stool and wastes are formed and then emptied into the rectum, right here. And then down here, we have the anus. Anus is the last stage of the digestive system, and it serves as the passageway of the feces. I didn't mention much of the liver, the gallbladder, the pancreas, because they're just considered as accessory organs, meaning they're not really part of the digestive system, but they aid in digestion by secreting substances like enzymes. Kids, finally, in this part, we'll now learn how proteins are broken down into their basic units called amino acids, right here. Remember the term, kids, amino acids. You'll then see how amino acids are absorbed by our intestines, specifically the small intestine, the blue one here, and used by our body to do its functions. When we talk about digestion, we'll look at proteins as a large molecule of amino acids, one or more chains of amino acids. When you feel hungry, you typically think of protein as a food such as eggs, fish, meat, nuts, and dairy. Regardless of which way we want to look at proteins, one fact remains, and that is amino acids are the basic building blocks of proteins. Now, the term building block is a good way to describe amino acids because as what we mentioned previously, it is literally used by our body to build biological substances like enzymes, hormones, muscles, and such. So good to keep in mind that protein digestion is not just as simple as eating an egg and magically getting amino acids. So a large protein molecule breaks down in few intermediate steps in the stomach, right here, and in the intestine, before it becomes a tiny amino acids that can be absorbed by our body. Okay, so let's take a look at how proteins are broken down by our digestive system. So protein digestion begins in the stomach, not in our mouth. So when we eat protein-rich food like eggs, and we want to look at this egg like this one, a large molecule of amino acids, the stomach releases an enzyme called pepsin. So pepsin is an active protein digesting enzyme that acts on protein, and we previously learned that enzymes cut down the food into smaller pieces. That's how exactly pepsin works. In the stomach, pepsin acts like a scissor that cuts the bonds holding the amino acids together, and that bond is called the peptide bonds. Now that these bonds are broken, we get a chain of amino acids called the polypeptides. Since the prefix poly means many, we can easily recall polypeptides as many amino acid units joined together. These polypeptides then move in to our small intestine, where digestion is completed by additional enzymes secreted by our pancreas right here. These pancreatic enzymes are called trypsin and chymotrypsin. These two enzymes will leave the pancreas through the common bile duct right here and will act upon the polypeptides. This part is the duodenum, by the way, or the upper small intestine. It's like the entrance of the small intestine. In the small intestine, these polypeptides will be continually be broken down by the trypsin and chymotrypsin. And these amino acids are now called as peptides. Peptides are simply defined as two or more amino acids linked together, and enzymes, the chymotrypsin and the trypsin, will continue to break down these polypeptides into amino acids. So trypsin and chymotrypsin will continually break down these peptides to smaller units called amino acids, what we are talking earlier. Because amino acids are very small now, they cannot be absorbed through the lining of the small intestine into the bloodstream. Now, it's good to note that the digested nutrients leaving the digestive tract will take a detour to our liver before entering the general bloodstream. It's almost like the liver is the king and it gets the first tips of the good nutrients, and then when it takes its fill, the rest of the body has the leftovers. The amino acids leaving the liver may be transported to your muscles or provide your energy or serve as fat. Okay, we'll have a quick summary about the protein digestion and absorption. Starting off with this egg. Egg is the cheapest source of high-quality protein and is convenient to eat all the time. Since it's high in protein, it has long chain of amino acids. Or this one. When this egg reaches the stomach will release an enzyme called pepsin. And then, this protein will be converted into a polypeptide, meaning many chains of amino acids. And then the food will move into the small intestine with the aid of pancreatic enzymes, released by the pancreas, of course. And these enzymes are called the chymotrypsin and the trypsin. And these polypeptides will be converted into peptides, meaning two or more amino acids linked together. And then these peptides will be continually break down in the small intestine, or what we call the continuous digestion. So these peptides will be converted into amino acids, these small, tiny amino acids. And these amino acids can now be absorbed by our small intestine. But before taking to the general bloodstream, the amino acid will take its detour to the liver. And then, after the liver takes its fill, the remaining amino acids will circulate the body. It can either be through muscle, or supply energy, or serve as fat. That is the protein digestion and absorption.